welcome to Let's Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbee. I would like to encourage everyone on my Facebook friends list, everyone in my social groups, and all of my listeners worldwide. Please do me a favor. Hit that like button and share this video podcast with your friends. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. It's free. Don't make this video podcast go viral by posting this link on your Facebook page, your Instagram page, and or on your Twitter page. This video podcast is available in three forms: audio, video, and as a written text in order for us to reach our audience. I created the grassroots community activist movement on November 10th, 1991 on a site called Gopher in order to connect with other like-minded Black people, African immigrants, Afro-Brazilians, Afro-Latinos, and Afro-Caribbeans to discuss social issues in America and throughout the diaspora, as well as on the African continent. The movement's objective is to build a new Black movement / African movement by building our own cooperative enterprises within the African American community. Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast is our interactive Black media component. We discuss controversial topics that you won't hear about from the mainstream media using an Afrocentric perspective. We are committed to reporting truthful and accurate news. We believe that now is the time for a comprehensive new strategy and a new movement for Black people / African people. I use this platform to interact with everyone on my friends list and everyone in my social groups by giving Black business owners free airtime to promote their products and services. I give people in the faith community an opportunity to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. I give Black authors and ordinary law-abiding citizens an opportunity to share their special talents and skills to my listeners from around the globe. After the show, I offer my guest speakers an incentive by teaching them how to create their own podcasts and YouTube channels to help them earn extra revenue. I also assist people on my friends list with creating basic websites, finding college scholarships, grants, housing, and legal services, all for free. After 15 years of being overlooked and rejected, I decided to write and publish my story, quote, The Solution for Black America, Reclaiming, Rebuilding, and Restoring the Urban Ghettos in America, second edition. It's available on Amazon. I talked it over with my publisher, which is Kindle Direct Publishing. They're affiliated with Amazon about lowering the price to make it affordable for everyone. Now, my book is available in two forms: an ebook that is $6.25 and the paperback for $6.25 plus shipping and handling. Ladies and gentlemen, I also created my virtual store in hopes of generating enough capital to jumpstart my Christian business, Revive Chicago, which stands for the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. It takes capital to start a business, whether it's a nonprofit or a for-profit. Unfortunately, my revised book is barely selling, and items on my virtual store is barely selling. I have been paying out of pocket for the business title since 2010. As I explained to my listeners, it's not my burden alone. It takes a team to make a dream work. Black America has rejected my vision and plan for 31 years. This is why I'm reaching out to the Black grassroots, and the global African family. My film project is my last attempt to try to do something positive for my racial group before I cut and run to Africa. At this time, all I can do is news commentary because I refuse to just sit back and twiddle my thumbs. We host our virtual conference every last Saturday of the month until we are able to raise the capital to fund our film project. Our film project is entitled Hood Liberator Made in Chicago, The War Against Willie Lynch Begins. This is a solution-based docudrama which is based on my experience growing up in the inner cities of Chicago. It's also based on my revised book. And the purpose why I created Rakim. This is our Black Panther moment, except it's not owned by Disney. It's owned by us. And when I say us, that is the grassroots community activist movement members. We want to get this film in front of 500 million people worldwide. We will offer a 21st century solution for both domestically within the United States of America and throughout the diaspora. Rakim is my gift to Black millennials, Generation Z, and my group members. It's my hope that we can eventually create our own Black film industry, Black hair product industry, and sporting industry. I created a GoFundMe page last April 2022 as a crowdfunding source so that everyone on my Facebook friends list and everyone in my social groups would know exactly where the funds for our film project would end up. This is also to indicate our progress in getting this film fully funded and made. Out of 1,683 people that's on my Facebook friends list, only 5 people have donated to our film project on our GoFundMe page. Then you wonder why our community remains jacked up. All I have is my revised book, my virtual store, my online groups, and this platform. I recommend that if you are serious about working with me and Sister Renee and turning my vision and plan for Black America and Africa, then first, purchase my revised book and read my story for yourself. If you agree with what I'm trying to do, then make arrangements with me to come on this podcast so that we can talk about it. Send me a message to my Facebook inbox. I'm using this technology to broadcast my vision and plan to those who will listen. It's my hope that the African immigrant community within the United States of America would come forth and work with me first in getting this film project fully funded and made so that we can build Rakim Chicago together and make our presence known within the African American community starting in Chicago. And once that happens, then we will replicate Rakim by going to visit 10 African nations. And in each African nation, we're going to set up a chapter. Rakim of Chicago's mission is to help eradicate urban violence in Chicago through arts, culture, commerce, spiritual development, and hosting African tours. We plan on visiting 10 African nations. They are as follows: South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, Angola, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Nigeria. I want to bring the best of the diaspora to each African nation so that we can set up local chapters and do international trade among our people. We aim to reconnect Black entrepreneurs with African entrepreneurs, Black artists with African artists. In this Christian business, our objective is to heal from enslavement and colonization. Since Black America and Black Chicago has overlooked and rejected my vision and plan for the past 31 years, my Christian business will be membership based. I am only responsible for my members. Those who are not part of us, we will pray for them, we will show them tough love, and we will keep it moving. Our hashtag, not another 31 years. Upcoming events, GCAM, Black Authors and Black Entrepreneurs Affair 2023. Attention Black authors and Black entrepreneurs on my Facebook friends list and in my social groups. If you are serious about coming on my platform to promote your book or business, then make arrangements with me so that we can practice using StreamYard. I would like to have 10 people on the show for each of the following days below. Mark your calendar for Thursday, August 3rd, Friday, August 4th, Saturday, August 5th, Thursday, August 10th, Friday, August 11th, Saturday, 12th, Thursday, August 17th, Friday, August 18th, Saturday, August 19th, Thursday, August 24th, Friday, August 25th. The objective is to give Black authors and Black entrepreneurs on my Facebook friends list and in my social group opportunity to come on this platform and promote their books and business to my listeners from around the globe. For Black authors to help improve literacy rate in the African American community. The grassroots community activist movement is committed to supporting Black authors by providing them a space where their work can be acknowledged, celebrated, and their income stimulated. On the business side, we want to connect the African American consumers with small Black business owners so that they can showcase their products and service before the African American consumers from across the United States of America. Please mark your calendar for our next GCAM virtual conference, Saturday, August 26, 2023. I am encouraging all of my Christian group members in Light of the World Inspirational Group and Christian Spoken Word Network to stand up and for at least 8 people to be on our panel. You must make arrangements with me to practice using StreamYard so that we can do a professional show. Theme, minding our own Black business, a Nehemiah moment. Where? Facebook Live /StreamYard. Time, 2 p.m. through 3 p.m. American Central Time, 3 p.m. Canadian Time, 8 p.m. West African Time, 9 p.m. South African Time, 10 p.m. East African Time, and 8 p.m. UK Time. Instructions on how to participate in the show. First, watch my video podcast. This is called Side A. After I finish my presentation, then I will open up the phone lines through Facebook Messenger. This is called Side B. You can interact with me in real time either by voice call by clicking on the phone icon or by video call by clicking on the camera icon. Today's topic of discussion is as follows. Governor Sarah H. Sanders plan on removing African American history as credit, medical apartheid in America, and reclaiming my ancestral homeland, Africa, and calling on African immigrants in America to help us build GCAM of Chicago. Before we go into the presentation, I need to share some information with my listeners. We have 4 more months left before 2023 comes to an end. I'm asking everyone on my Facebook friends list and everyone in my social groups to reflect on the number of times you have seen my video podcast this year, the value you got from it, and whether you're able to give $10 towards our film project. If you can, please join the 2% of readers who will. If everyone reading this right now gave $10, it would be a start to getting us closer to our goal. When I set up the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago as a nonprofit to create Black empowerment films and Black grassroots media, it meant that we could preserve our core values: neutral, high quality information, not outrageous and clickbait. Being a nonprofit means there is no danger that someone will buy Ghettos Chicago and turn it into their personal money grab. It's easy to ignore our message, but if Ghettos Chicago has given you $10 worth of knowledge this year, please donate now. Thank you again for your generosity. You can give through our PayPal page or through our GoFundMe page, or you can buy items from our virtual store or purchase my revised book. You can find all of the links in the comment section below this video podcast. Our first topic: the Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders of Arkansas plan on removing African American history courses as credit towards graduating from high school. This follows what the state of Florida has done in the same manner to whitewash American history. We need to wake up about our situation in America, ladies and gentlemen. My question to those of you who are parents: why Black parents in the state of Arkansas aren't making an outcry about our history? You all know when I present my information, I come fully loaded with receipts. I found an article on Truth Out entitled, quote, "Arkansas will not recognize AP Black history for credit, only European history," unquote. If you would like to read the full article, then I encourage my listeners to go to my Medium transcript. Look for the exact title of this presentation. Then click on the topic and scroll down to show and prove. Basically, what the article was talking about was the Arkansas Department of Education canceled a new African American history course. Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders decided to ban critical race theory K through 12 public school via executive order, that certain material could indoctrinate students with ideologies that could conflict with the principles of equal protection under the law, or encourage students to discriminate against someone based on characteristics protected by federal or state law. I believe indoctrinating children into anti-Black racism should be banned too. Now we have Florida and Arkansas trying to ban Black history. If you tell the truth about the United States of American history, then you will expose the white supremacist financial elites and how they obtain their wealth and power. On a political viewpoint, Republicans have a wing that is openly hostile against Black people. If they would get rid of that in their party, then more Blacks would consider joining them. In contrast, the Democrats are more subtle toward their anti-Black racism. They use the Black vote to help benefit everyone else except Black people. Biden is requesting an additional $24 billion for Ukraine on top of the $113 billion that they have already given Ukraine. Black parents are taking their children to these public schools and turning them over to descendants of slave owners. There are many studies that black children develop complexes about themselves, which starts in elementary schools. It also proven there is a school to prison pipeline. Our children are being miseducated, mistreated, and criminalized. Black Americans can't continue to talk about how our children are being mistreated, yet Black America refused to embrace my vision and plan to help improve our situation here in America. Food prices are on the rise, while the white supremacist financial elites are allowing illegal immigrants to come over here to compete against Black people for resources. The question is, what are we going to do as a collective? We gotta have more unification than just uniting when a Black person is attacked in public. The code is all of the principles which I have written in my revised book. I am trying to build something positive for our racial group or lineage in the 21st century. I would like to see more unification when it comes to practicing group economics. Our ancestors did not fight and die for us to be in a worse position that we are in today. As I mentioned in my revised book, during segregation, we controlled our own Black businesses, hospitals, and institutions. Today, Black Americans are dependent on other groups for employment, education, and medical care. What I am trying to do is create our own business so that we can hire people within our community. We should be the source of our community's employment. Working for the man, there tends to be a glass ceiling and dealing with racism on the job. Just look at our condition in every major city in America. It's not looking good for Black people. Then look at these Black politicians who are selling us out to the white supremacist financial elites. We have allowed these politicians to represent us without accountability. They're just Black faces representing white interests. One of our objectives in Ghettos of Chicago is to offer a second chance program for ex-offenders of nonviolent crimes and former gang members in order to reduce recidivism. We want to replace the negative behavior with a positive incentive. In this case, creating Black empowerment films and offering stipends for Black youth who act in our films, stage plays, and music videos. We also aim to strengthen the Black family. This is why we need lineage-based reparations in the form of cash payments. It will help solve the financial part of the problem. We will teach our members and students financial literacy. It's going to be a time when I'm going to stop focusing on Black America, because let's keep it a buck. I've been preaching to Black Americans for 31 years, and things that I talk about and written about eventually comes to pass. Please leave a public comment on my YouTube page about the topic. Most of all, share this video podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. The second topic, medical apartheid in America. We're going to discuss the recent medical malpractice against Black patients. As I mentioned in my revised book, the system is rigged against us because the foundation of America is anti-Black racism in the form of white supremacy before the U.S. Constitution was created. When we say systemic racism, that involves criminal justice, economics, education, entertainment, employment, healthcare, housing, politics, religion, and media. I found an article from CNN entitled, quote, Black parents and their children are more likely to experience unfair treatment when seeking medical care, studies find, unquote. If you would like to read the full article, then I encourage my listeners to go to my Medium transcript, look for the exact title of this presentation. Then Click on the topic and scroll down to show and prove. On CBS News, there was a story that broke my heart. It's entitled, quote, "Baby Decapitated During Birth Before Delivery. Hospital Claims. Medical Examiner Says Investigation Continues," unquote. These politicians are allowing illegal immigrants to come over here and get free medical care, housing, and employment, while a large population of homeless Americans are black and they are treated as fourth and fifth class citizens in this country. Black Americans are paying for private medical autopsy for our deceased infant. What's wrong with this picture? The hospital did not report the incident to the medical examiner. Notice whenever those who are in charge are in the wrong, all of a sudden there's a code of silence. Since the family reached out to the medical examiner and filed a lawsuit, all of a sudden the hospital decided they want to talk. The article was saying the doctor was not an employee, but he had medical privileges in the hospital. Things like this is what we should be talking about on a national front. On Fox 5 Atlanta, quote, "A medical examiner calls for a state investigation in baby's decapitation at Metro Atlanta Hospital," unquote. I want all of you to listen to this audio clip. I advise you to brace yourself, for some of this is graphic details. Also, please read the article for more details. Fair use, Fox News.
In the case of a baby being decapitated at Clayton County Hospital, the County Medical Examiner's Office says they're investigating the death of Travion Taylor Jr. Thank you for joining us. I'm Alex Whitler.
Taylor was the infant named in the lawsuit, which claims he was decapitated during a childbirth at Southern Regional Medical Center. Now, this is a story we have been covering since the attorneys for the parents announced legal action earlier this week. The medical examiner's office say they were first notified by a funeral home in Riverdale after a private autopsy was performed on the infant's body. Now, according to a release, an investigator was assigned to the case and at some point contacted the GBI to help investigate. The office also say they contacted Clayton County Police and the Georgia Composite Medical Board in hopes of investigating the doctors responsible. Officials say they also went as far as to contact the Georgia Secretary of State Office Board of Nursing to look into the nursing staff. Southern Regional Medical Center released a statement refuting any wrongdoing in the case and claimed the baby died in utero prior to delivery and decapitation.
The search is now up.
All right, now we're going to listen to it from CBS News. Fair use.
A Clayton County couple claims doctors failed to tell them that their baby's head became detached from his body during an emergency C-section. Atlanta News First reporter Patrick Quinn spoke with the family's attorneys, who say doctors tried to cover up what happened.
After Jessica Ross's water broke last month, the Clayton County couple, they rushed here with hopes of having their first child. The details of what happened next, they're extremely disturbing. The family now filing a lawsuit on behalf of their late son, whose body, they say, was detached from his head during birth.
This is one of the most sad, egregious, and horrific situations that I've ever seen.
The attorneys of Jessica Ross and Travion Taylor laying out heartbreaking allegations stemming from what they call a botched childbirth.
When the womb was open, the feet came out, the body came out, and there was no head.
In the lawsuit, the couple's attorneys claim the baby's head was detached from its body after a failed vaginal delivery. They're alleging gross negligence during the birth and fraud in an alleged attempt to cover up the details of the boy's death, claiming staff also discouraged them from getting an autopsy.
They did everything in their power to try to not let the family know what actually happened on that day.
The attorneys say Jessica and Trayvon's story reflects a bigger problem with how black women are cared for during childbirth. We looked into the numbers here in Georgia. Infant deaths are more than twice as likely for black infants compared to white infants. We reached out to the OBGYN group and the hospital. The spokesperson of Southern Regional Medical Center denied the allegations and said due to privacy laws, they cannot comment on their care or treatment in this childbirth. And added, quote, our commitment is to provide compassionate, quality care to every single patient, and this loss is heartbreaking. Attorneys said they're seeking compensation and punitive damages, adding this tragedy and subsequent sorrow could have been prevented.
My clients asked for a C-section much sooner than it was ever delivered, while the baby was viable.
Patrick Quinn, Atlanta News First.
This is a perfect example of systematic racism. If you are black and impoverished, then the system assumes it can do anything they want to do to you and get away with it. I have explained this to you all many times before. The white supremacist financial elites have created their system to keep the masses of black people economically and socially disenfranchised. The legal system costs money to get justice. That's why they want to keep black people impoverished so we can't get justice in the courts. It's not just the doctor and the nurses, but the hospital is guilty too. The doctor and all of the nurses involved were in cahoots of making it look like the infant died of natural causes. The parents did not know what happened until the funeral home explained to them what happened. When this kind of thing happen, Black America needs to be aware. This is a parent's worst nightmare. My heart and prayers goes out to the family. I am very upset about this case. I talked about my experience with my mother being placed in a nursing home. When I attempted to get her out, the nursing home administrator gave me a hard time. I got myself a lawyer, but my mother told me to just let her live there. I heeded to her requests. A year later, she passed. I encourage my members who is thinking about having your loved one in a long-term care facility, make sure that you get legal guardianship first so that you can control the payment. They did not want to lose the money that they were getting from my moms. That's how come, they wanted to keep her. The negligence that Black women have been talking about regarding medical care is starting to occur more often. That's what I've been telling Black America for 31 years. I can't build Chicago myself. It takes a team. This is why I created this platform to broadcast my vision and plan through the airwaves and now on video. I refuse to be ignored. These hospitals assume that the average Black person is part of the working poor and can't afford to hire a medical examiner. We don't have our own doctors and nurses because Black America continues to ignore my vision and plan. The Bible says people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6, King James Version. In America, we have to deal with oppression, police being over-militarized in Black areas, and racist institutions. They display a culture of negligence. This is what we're up against. I know you all were galvanized to stand up for the brother who used a chair for justice, and you should, but there are other issues happening in Black America. I encourage all of my listeners to join the grassroots community activist movement, and let's take these issues serious. That's why I created GRCAM in the first place, so that we can mobilize and get things done. Our first task is to help get my revised book on the bestsellers list. Then donate what you can to our film project. American pharmaceutical companies have made more profits in 1 year than they did in previous decades for medical institutions. Truth be told, the vaccines are not stopping you from getting COVID. Also is responsible for making you have cardiac arrest. For example, Derma Hampton on January 2nd, 2023 suffered cardiac arrest after making a tackle. Cardiopulmonary resuscitation and automatic external defibrillator were administered before he was rushed to a local hospital in critical condition. Bronny James, LeBron James' son, suffered cardiac arrest at USC basketball practice. And a 17-year-old girl went into cardiac arrest at her cheer competition. Let's put these incidents in perspective. When they were pulling out all of these articles about encouraging black people to get the jab first, that was a red flag for me. I remember reading books about the Tuskegee syphilis study. When you have a lot of people showing up in the ER with the same symptoms that these medical professionals said was safe, then the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, is supposed to stop selling the drug and do a recall. Now take a look at what's been happening since the past 3 years. We have studies from around the world talking about the vaccine in America. It's not stopping anyone from getting COVID, but it is increasing cardiac arrests. We went from LeBron James' son to a 17-year-old. That's not natural. This is why we as black people have to build Ghettos, Chicago, so that under the health and wellness component of the business, we can have our own black medical professionals. Notice all of the fast food joints and liquor stores on every block in the African American community. That's health warfare. As I mentioned in my revised book, Ghettos, Chicago will offer a fitness center for our members and students. We want to help reduce blood pressure, diabetes, and cholesterol. Please leave a public comment on my YouTube page about the topic. Most of all, share this video podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. Our third topic, reclaiming my ancestral homeland, Africa, and calling on African immigrants in America to help us build Ghettos of Chicago. Before I cut and run to Africa, I want to be sure that I will be able to make sure that I am able to sustain myself in Africa. I don't want to come empty-handed. I want to be in a position to bring tangibles for my active African group members in Ghettos of Africa. It's going to get a lot tougher for black people because so many of our people are Americanized and have become narcissists. All I am trying to do is build Ghettos Chicago with the help from Black Americans, African immigrants, Afro-Brazilians, Afro-Caribbeans, and Afro-Latinos in order to gain credibility within the African American community and throughout the diaspora. One of the things I would like to do when I come to South Africa is to lead by example. I will apply for dual citizenship. I want the continental Africans to take me serious. I want also to set up my Christian business, Ghettos Africa. One of the objectives is to help solve the energy crisis or load shedding, which is an ongoing period of widespread national blackouts of electricity. We will use solar panels to help solve load shedding in South Africa, as well as other things to help contribute to improving South Africa's economy and things like that. I also would like to work on shooting our second film. I want to use my international Christian business to encourage my members in America DAS, descendants of American slaves, to get involved with our African tours and meet my African group members, Archive of Africa, in person, and vice versa. Because I don't want us to just be behind a computer. That's what the enemy thought, but he's a lie. Like I say, the only thing that's, I like two things. I like the manpower and the capital. Again, that's why I've written my revised book. That's why I created the virtual store. And those things are barely selling, so that's how come I'm trying to do the film project. Again, my film project is my last attempt to try to do something positive for my racial group here in America. This Willie Lynch mentality is real. And again, in my Christian business, we're going to come against that mess. That's basically what I'm going to do once we get it up and running here in Chicago. And I want to make sure that none of my members will never have to endure such foolishness that I endured, because we're going to have our support systems in place, and we're going to support our members that's trying to do something positive in the Black community. That's what you're supposed to do. But again, people get, Americanized. Everybody wants to be seen and all that kind of stuff, but the problems is getting worse, so their way is not working. Nevertheless, this is what I want. This is what I've been trying to do for the past 31 years, but Black America took me for joke. This is why I created this platform, to encourage my members that we will take the lead without asking for permission. We will focus on solving our social problems at the grassroots level. We will get into the hotel industry, real estate, food industry, and sports industry. Life is too short to be going through unnecessary drama. I will run my Christian business the way I run my home, drama-free. Again, I do not operate like the next Black man. I have my own style and way of doing things. I would like to thank everyone who has contributed or will contribute to support us in our PayPal page, purchasing items from our virtual store, purchasing my revised book, or sending a direct donation through our GoFundMe page. We really appreciate you. You can find all of my links below this video podcast. If you are listening to this audio podcast on Anchor or Spotify, just click on the YouTube icon and click the About section. Then scroll down to links. Please leave a public comment on my YouTube page about the topic. Most of all, share this video podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to this podcast. Again, please leave comments in the comment sections. And again, for this entire month of August, if you have a Black business, if you're a Black author, or if you have special talents in terms of, if you're a poet, if you're a filmmaker, whatever kind of positive talents that you have, get in contact with me so that way you can come on the show and you can promote it to the global community. Because again, I want to share this stuff. I want to share this platform. Same thing I want to do in my Christian business. I want to share it with my group members or my real members, because we're going to move from behind this computer. I want to meet all of my members. But again, I'm asking everyone that's listening, please read my story. So that way you'll know what you're getting yourself involved with. Everything in that book, we're going to carry out to the fullest. And anyhow, what I've written is just half of my knowledge. I know more than what I've written, but, I have to do one thing at a time. So again, that's going to conclude our show for today. Peace and blessings.